think Kiss started as the band we never saw. As someone who went to rock concerts, I felt cheated. I saw bands that felt that they were doing me a favor by...
The legend of Kiss hides a dark and chaotic beginning. Paul Stanley reveals the secrets, struggles, and shocking moments that nearly destroyed the band before they even played their first major show. Paul Stanley, the legendary frontman of Kiss, recently sat down for an in-depth conversation, reflecting on the origins of the band, the struggles of their formative years, and the creative vision that propelled them to superstardom. His words offer a rare glimpse behind the makeup and pyrotechnics, revealing the human story of ambition, resilience, and relentless passion that defined the early days of one of rock's most iconic acts. Stanley recalled the moment he first envisioned Kiss. He described a sense of dissatisfaction with the music scene of his youth, where performances often felt uninspired and lacked the larger-than-life energy he craved. He wanted more than just music. He wanted spectacle, emotion, and an unforgettable connection with the audience. That longing became the seed for Kiss, a band that would not only play songs, but craft experiences, transforming live shows into theatrical journeys. The idea was audacious, yet Stanley believed it was essential. He wanted to create a band that combined powerful rock music with a visual identity so compelling that fans could not ignore it. The early days of Kiss were far from glamorous. Stanley spoke candidly about the financial struggles, late-night rehearsals, and small gigs where audiences were sparse and enthusiasm cautious. The members slept on floors, drove long hours in unreliable vehicles, and sometimes went days with barely enough money to cover meals. Yet amid the hardships, there was an unwavering determination to succeed. Stanley emphasized that these challenges were not deterrents, but lessons in perseverance. Each rejection and setback reinforced their commitment, building a foundation of resilience that would sustain the band through decades of highs and lows. One of the most distinctive elements of Kiss was the creation of their stage personas, which Stanley explained were born from a desire to blur the line between reality and fantasy. These alter egos were more than just makeup and costumes. They were expressions of the members' personalities amplified for the stage. For Stanley, the Starchild persona embodied flamboyance, charisma, and emotional openness. It allowed him to explore a side of himself that could not exist in everyday life, transforming vulnerability into performance art. The process of developing these identities was deliberate and collaborative, ensuring that each member's persona complemented the others, creating a cohesive and mesmerizing stage presence. Musically, Kiss drew from a wide spectrum of influences, blending rock, pop, and theatricality into a sound that was uniquely theirs. Stanley reflected on the impact of bands like the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, and The Who, artists who managed to fuse melody with intensity, crafting songs that resonated both emotionally and sonically. Kiss aspired to this level of impact, combining catchy hooks with electrifying performances. The band spent countless hours experimenting with song structures, harmonies, and riffs, refining their sound until it could command both small clubs and massive arenas. Every note, every chord, every lyric was considered with the dual purpose of musical integrity and audience engagement. The early shows played a pivotal role in defining Kiss's identity. Stanley recounted their first performance at a small pub in Queens, where they were paid a modest sum yet delivered an energy that surprised even themselves. These initial gigs were more than practice. They were laboratories where the band tested their chemistry, stagecraft, and connection with fans. Over time, word of mouth grew, and audiences began to anticipate their performances, drawn by the combination of theatrical spectacle and rock authenticity. The raw energy of those nights, the sweat, the occasional mishaps, and the adrenaline-fueled thrill of performing to a crowd that slowly transformed from skeptics to loyal fans, all contributed to the unique aura that would become synonymous with Kiss. Visual elements became just as critical as the music itself. Stanley highlighted how pyrotechnics, elaborate costumes, and dramatic lighting were designed not simply as gimmicks, but as extensions of the band's artistic vision. Every visual choice was intentional, aimed at immersing the audience into the world of Kiss. The combination of sound and spectacle created an experience that transcended a typical concert, turning each show into a multi-sensory event that left lasting impressions on fans. Stanley noted that this holistic approach, balancing music with theatricality, was instrumental in differentiating Kiss from other bands of their era and solidifying their reputation as innovators in live performance. Looking back, Stanley reflected on the profound impact of those early years, both on the band and on the music industry as a whole. Kiss became more than a band. They became a cultural phenomenon, influencing fashion, stage production, and the concept of rock persona. Stanley expressed pride in how the band's vision had endured over decades, noting that the principles established in those initial struggles, creativity, dedication, and authenticity, remained central to their identity. He acknowledged that success came with sacrifices, from grueling tours to personal challenges, yet he emphasized that the reward was the ability to leave a lasting legacy that inspired countless artists and fans alike. Stanley also spoke about the importance of connection with fans. From the earliest days, Kiss recognized that their relationship with their audience was foundational. They were not merely performers on a stage. They were participants in a shared experience. This philosophy drove the band to innovate continually, ensuring that each performance offered something fresh and memorable. The devotion of Kiss fans, known as the Kiss Army, became a vital source of energy and motivation, reinforcing the band's commitment to excellence and spectacle. Stanley reflected on moments where fan reactions elevated the performances, creating an almost symbiotic relationship that pushed the band to new heights. Despite decades in the music industry, Stanley emphasized that the spirit of Kiss has never waned. He spoke about adaptability and evolution, noting that while musical trends and technologies change, the core values of the band remain steadfast. Boldness, creativity, and the relentless pursuit of unforgettable experiences continue to guide Kiss. Stanley expressed confidence that the band's legacy will endure, not only because of their music, but because of the ethos they instilled from the very beginning. A belief that rock is as much about performance, emotion, and spectacle as it is about sound. In conclusion, Paul Stanley's reflections on the early days of Kiss provide a rich, detailed account of the challenges, inspirations, and triumphs that shaped the band into a cultural icon. His recollections reveal a journey marked by resilience, artistic vision, and an unwavering commitment to both craft and audience. Kiss's story is not just one of musical success, but of human determination, creativity, and the power of dreaming bigger than reality initially allows. Stanley's words serve as both a historical document and a source of inspiration, reminding us that the foundations of greatness are often forged in struggle, creativity, and the relentless pursuit of an unforgettable experience.